Morning, this is Donovan Walker, planning ops for Great Basin Team 5. Today's Sunday, September 15th, and this is your morning fire briefing this morning as far as operations goes. Got some really good things to report, and I guess really before I start going around the map, one of the messages we gave the troops this morning and our intent is we know we have some rain coming in the forecast. It's going to rain. How much? They're saying anywhere between a half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch, widespread, real similar to the situation we had several days ago. With that, today is a day to buckle down and really get the work done that we can get done before we're kind of on delay for a couple of days based on the way that we know that the roads will get and just the access issues we're going to have. That said, some of the key areas that we're working in around Division November, where all this dozer line is, where we've been mopping up for several days, knowing the rain's coming, they're getting in, grubbing around, opening things up. So as that rain comes down, what I mean by that is they're really turning a lot of stuff over in the ground, in the soil, in the litter that's on the ground, and trying to make it where when the rain falls, it really gets in there and penetrates. So on the other side of the storm, they can get in there, grub around some more, and hopefully be to a point that we've got showing some good completion on the map in here, and I think we're going to get there. That also goes with this very northeasternmost part of the fire where the crews have been in direct the last several days. Same idea there. We've got some direct hand line that's in, tying it around, and now we need to get the mop up done in there and get that finished, and we believe that the rains are going to significantly help us with that. Moving down to the Highway 17 corridor, we've been talking about this for several days. We are secure down here on the 17 corridor. We've brought this completed line all the way up. We got the IR with the drone in there. It was flying all day, going back and forth looking for heat. We haven't seen heat on the ground when we've had people in there. Now we verified that with our infrared, and we're very confident that we've got that tied up into the Pioneer Fire, where the old Pioneer Fire scar, where we're in a confinement strategy on the rest of that. There is a little bit of heat that showed up just above that, but we're confident several miles in from the Highway 17 corridor is looking good, and we're going to be reducing our footprint as far as resources goes in there and focus more on any repair and anything that's needed, particularly on that Triple Nickel Road coming in the south end of the fire. We had some debris flow during the last rainstorm. We expect to see a similar thing happen, not very far in either. And we've got to keep that road open. That's one of our primary access to get to Deadwood, the quickest way that we can do that. And then we need to also know where other trouble areas are going to be. So we'll have some folks in there monitoring that. Once the rains start, we'll be pulling out, and then we'll go back in the next day or a couple of days later and really try and figure out, are there more problem areas in there, or are we aware of all the big problem areas we're going to have, so we can communicate that to the forest and the folks that are going to be doing rehabilitation. No change to anything on the west side of Nellie. Everything's holding good. We've brought a lot of our supplies and water handling equipment that was in there, like hose lays and things like that. We've pulled those out because this has been completed for several days. The indirect line remains in place. We're not seeing any need in the near future, certainly while our team is here, which we have about 3 shifts left before we transition to the next Great Basin team. And yeah, we might not ever get there. And we've said from the very beginning, it would be desirable if we were able to park these where they are and not have to engage people in between and figure that out. Those things being said, we have done some actions before the last rainstorm, strategic firing on a couple of ridges in here that made a lot of sense, where if we did have to go in there, we have a place to go work from that's safe to access on the ridges. Problem is, with the weather that we're expecting, if we commit to in there, you got to be able to get out quick. I don't want to have people caught in a thunderstorm, lightning storm. Logistically, there's no roads in there, so you'd have to fly in or hike in, and both of those things are treacherous at best when the weather deteriorates. So best case scenario, like I said, is the rain continues to park it in place, and it's going to hold like that. That would be ideal. But we will transition all the different ideas we have to the incoming team. It should be seamless. They'll be taking our recommendations and also looking for their own efficiencies, just as we did when we took it from the team before us and came up with some different ideas to try and make it where we didn't have to have fire so close to the community. Moving to the north, north of Nelly, where we've been working in the Silver Plunge and the Middle Fork corridor here, and the road systems around that, all of that continues. Um, we're making a lot of progress in there too. Several of the leadership staff has made trips out there and really commented that, man, there's been a lot of work done up there. There's been a lot of good thinning done up in there. The roads are more accessible. They're aiding our ability to hold a fire if we don't get the rain, and say Goat becomes active and moves to the south, it's going to be resilient. If Nelly were to become active, which is highly unlikely on the north here, but if it were, this is resilient to that as well. And we're just going to continue those operations. We don't want to stop something halfway through. We're going to get it to completion and then evaluate the need to do anything else. So our current plan is to finish the prep on the roads around it, to ensure that the prep and the fuels work and the water handling equipment is in place and ready to go. And then at some point there'll be a decision made if it needs to stay in there, because maybe we're into early October and it's starting to snow and things are changing. So we'll remain in a posture to act if we need to act, and that's our responsibility and our duty to you guys. So we'll be in a good spot with there. Last thing I want to talk about, back north of November, this Triple Nickel Road moving north. We got easily 2 miles completed masticating yesterday. I think we got about 3.5, maybe 4 miles to go. That's going to be a couple more days of work. I know today's going to be a good work day, and then we're probably going to have to suspend that until after the rain comes in and it dries back out, and we'll pick that back up, whether that's our team or the next team coming in. So that plan will continue as well. And yeah, the structure group and IA group, we've got about 10 engines, 9 or 10 engines in there, so we'll be ready if we get another couple of lightning strikes that start fires here locally. We'll be able to help the Garden Valley Chief or the Silver Creek Chief, whoever requests assistance, or if it's within our TFR, we're going to go take care of it. So we're ready to go for that, pretty much all the scenarios. The troops are excited to get some work done today, and yeah, it's been great. So I appreciate your time today. That concludes your operational briefing. Thank you.